Verse 17, therefore in planning this thing, Matthew, was I, and now here we have ekreisamen. This is the aorist active indicative of krahomai, means to use. Was I making use? And then here we have the dative of manner. Use of, excuse me, ele fria, ela fria. This is vacillation, fickleness. We're going to translate it, was I being fickle? I like the translation of the NIV, fickle. Sometimes, people, this is a word used for the people many times. And people want this, and the people want that. And vox populi, vox Dei. The people, the voice of the people is not the voice of God, by the way. People are fickle. And if you find yourself in a mob wanting something, you're going to think like them. You're not going to be able to think independently. You're going to adjust to their way of thinking. You're not independently thinking. The mob can never think. Okay, let me not get into the mob thinking, but yes, right now, a lot of things are happening in this country, and the fifth cycle of discipline is going to happen to us. I think it has finally arrived and has become very evident. A lot of you guys who are Trumpers, you guys do not even know what real conservatism is. God is a conservative, but you do not know what a conservative is. Conservative is. Nothing about conservatism allows us to be surrendering to the Russians. You're out of your damn mind just because you hate the left. And yes, they've done so many terrible things, but for you to be voting in favor of the Russians, to elect someone who is a Russian puppet, now has become very evident now that he's a Russian puppet. Whereas before, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, everyone was like, come on, he's not a Russian puppet. Now you're tripping. Now it has become fully evident that he is a Russian puppet. Everything that he's doing. You guys do not know what the hell conservatism is. And this goes contrary to the founding fathers. Remember the Monroe Doctrine? The Monroe Doctrine created by John Quincy Adams that says that no European power is going to be allowed in this hemisphere. Why did they do it? Because they were aware of the Holy Alliance after the Napoleonic Wars, the Triple Alliance, which was Prussia, Russia, and Russia, and then they got Spain later. And they wanted to control parts of this hemisphere, and Russia was already getting here to Alaska, and they already had sent their spies or their men to California, Washington. And so the founding fathers said, nope, no European powers over here. We're not going to have any Ruskies over here. And so they created the Monroe Doctrine. And here you are thinking you're a damn patriot, thinking that you're faithful to the cause of the United States, and here you are supporting a man who's for the Russians. The Russians and the United States have nothing in compatibility. Nothing in compatibility. Just because they portray themselves as the purveyors of family values, there's nothing about family values in that mafia state of the Russians. They're shady as hell, and they use paramilitary activity. They have all these groups like Wagner and Africa, and etc. That we're never going to have any compatibility with them. What the hell are you doing supporting a man? Yes, man, a sycophant of the Russians. And I don't know why all these conservatives, they just completely surrendered. Russia seemed to have, they conquered the United States much easier than they were able to conquer Ukraine. They have not even conquered Ukraine. And I'm here to tell you right now that the cause, in terms of foreign policy, the will of God is not for Russia to rise. If anything, he's going to use them to punish us, and he will. The Russians, the Ruskies, and the Chaicoms, he's going to use them. And we're going to see, we might be in the generation where we're going to finally see foreign troops in our land, and we're going to have to run to the mountains. I used to ridicule when I used to study about those draft dodgers who fled to Canada because they were avoiding the draft. And I was all those cowardly hippies. But now, fleeing to Canada might not be a very bad idea. You have a Russian puppet here in the presidency of the United States, and he does things in the name of good. Oh, he's for our guns. Oh, and he's finally against all these things that the left is doing. Yes, and Satan can give you your way too, and he's going to tell you that he's for this and he's for that. And you're like, oh, I like him. But the wrong application comes thereafter. He uses the good thing, the right thing, with the wrong application. So this is something that you need to get inside of your mind if you're a damn Trump supporter, thinking that you're somehow doing the will of God. So much for that digression. We're going to see the fifth cycle of discipline coming. and you're going to experience it. And the only hope that you have for you, Trump supporter, is to get with doctrine. Ronald Reagan had nothing to do with Trump, let me tell you that. Calvin Coolidge, all these great conservatives had nothing to do with that. Even if you like the foreign policy of Theodore Roosevelt, it had nothing to do. His strong foreign policy was one of rationality. It was not of irrationality. Here, Trump is trying to be another Theodore Roosevelt, and he does not make the right application. Wrong application at the wrong time is completely wrong, and it's evil. The Panama Canal. Yes, it's true that the Panama Canal belonged to us, but the wrong application is that for us to go get it right now when the Ruskies want it so much, they wanted to cause detriment in the relation here in the hemisphere. It's true that NATO, they have not contributed to the military protection as they should have. Yes, but this is not the right time to break it apart. It's true that we have all these 800 military bases all around the world and there's no need for them, most of them. It's true, yes, but right now is the wrong time to do it. You need to understand the concept of using the right principle in the wrong manner. Sometimes using the wrong principle in the wrong manner can be much more detrimental than using the wrong principle in the wrong manner. You're about to see it. The balloon is going to go up and you better get with doctrine. Okay. So fickle. Was I fickle? Let me finish the verse. Where am I? Okay. Therefore, planning this, was I being fickle then? So ara means as a result then. And planning this then, was I being fickle? And the answer is no. God did not want him to go to Corinth first. In fact, we have benefited by the fact that he did not go to Corinth. He did not go to Corinth, and he went to Macedonia. He wrote 2 Corinthians, and now we get the second blessing. Part of God's sense of humor. We get the second blessing. 1 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians. The second grace. There we are. Okay. And then so, or, here we have the disjunctive article, or. And here we have a relative pronoun, accusative, plural, neuter, of a hos. The things, or the things I plan, boleo omai. This is the present active indicative of boleo, or the things that I plan. And then boleo omai again, I plan them according, kata plus the accusative of sarix, according to the flesh, according to the sin nature. Am I out of fellowship when I plan things with the result that the will of God is not done for me in my life? So here, let me smooth this out. Or the things that I planned, do I plan them according to the sin nature, to the flesh? And then hina of, here I think hina is with a result. Yeah, this is a result. With the result that, and then here we have the present active subjunctive of Amy. With the result that it is, let's go literal for now. It is para plus emoi. It is with me. And then here we have to, nai, kai, to, u. Do, nai. So we have here both yes, and no. Let me finish up this class. With the result that it is with me, both yes, and no. So this is a question, and it demands the answer no. So we have a translation now. Verse 17. Therefore, in planning this, was I being fickle then? The answer is no. Or the things that I plan, do I plan them according to the sin nature? With the result that with me, that it is with me both yes, and no. So that's a little bit literal. Let me just go again with the NIV. Was I fickle when I intended to do this? Or did I make plans in a worldly manner? So that in the same breath I say both yes, and no. So here Paul is saying that I'm not one. He's countering the arguments of the Corinthians who are saying that he was fickle and vacillating. He's telling them, no, I'm not functioning according to the sin nature, and sometimes things do not work according to plan, and it was God's will for me not to visit you. You are not ready yet. You're in reversionism, and you're in a reacting mode. You're not going to be able to understand any of the doctrine that I give you. As a result, we ourselves got the second grace of 2 Corinthians. He will go back to the Corinthians. Many more of them are going to recover, but not yet.